It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Good morning. 2 days to Thanksgiving, man. I'm looking forward to it. I can't lie. I always love that holiday. We had a World Cup bummer, and this morning a World Cup stunner. Matt O'Sullivan's going to join us in a little bit. And also, today, you know, we talk college basketball with the Hall of Famer Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News. He's also writing World Cup, so we'll get his thoughts on that. So we'll have a lot on the World Cup. That is for sure. The stunner, Saudi Arabia beat Matt O'Sullivan's favorite, Argentina and Messi. They fall today, 2-1. Craziness already. Tigers and Rebs, they head to New Orleans, so we'll talk Hoop Fests with Mike as well, last segment of the show. Monday Night Football was a big hit in Mexico City. So was Jimmy G. We got to recap and put to bed this past weekend with our friend Jeff Moore on the National Football League. The Egg Bowl on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM is 2 days away, but it's like happening already because the Twitter world went crazy last night. There's a anchor named John Sokoloff. He's in Starkville, and he basically tweeted that Lane Kiffin will be gone after the Egg Bowl, that he will be Auburn's new head coach. He took to Twitter, basically denying it. Well, wait a second.
With assorted emojis that we don't know what they mean.
Yeah, he basically made fun of the anchor. And, here's the thing. I don't know what Lane Kiffin's going to do. I'm pretty sure even Chuck Rounsaville, who is maybe the most biased he's not really a reporter, so I shouldn't say that, because what he does is he writes only for the fans of Ole Miss. He does the Spirit or whatever the heck it's called. It's all geared toward Ole Miss. It's almost always 100% positive. Everybody else is a bum. And Chuck himself has reported that both Lane Kiffin and Hugh Freeze are neck and neck, that a decision has not been made, that the positives for Lane are social media. The positives for Hugh are his ability to get with the community and make himself a part of that DNA. Coaching, pretty neck and neck. Maybe even a lean toward Hugh, because when he was with Ole Miss, he had some bigger wins, even with Liberty, than Lane Kiffin has had. Lane is clearly fun. Here's the thing that really strikes me. If I'm a coach who's just lost 3 in a row, and I'm not sure I've even got a significant win this year, and I've won 3 in a row, I can't lose. I'm either going to get this job at Auburn, where I believe he's been quoted as saying there is no ceiling, and that there may be a ceiling at Ole Miss. So he's either going to get the job at Auburn, or he's getting a raise from Ole Miss to keep him. And he's just lost 3 in a row. What a good deal.
That's probably why he's so upset at the reporting, although the report was weird. To say, sources say the Tigers haven't officially offered the job to anyone.
Exactly.
But Lane Kiffin's the next head coach.
I know.
That's just, it seems like those would be contradictory in some way.
So he wrote a cryptic reply to the effect that John Sokoloff, the anchor at this station in in Starkville, is moving to another station, even though it hasn't been offered, but he's leaving.
That's right.
So he did that, and then he wrote that he snapped a picture of Sokoloff at a cemetery next to a grave. His career has been buried.
And Auburn people love it because that guy, Sokoloff, was the one that reported John Cohen going to Auburn. But John Cohen was at Mississippi State, and this guy works in Starkville, so he has a direct line to that. So it's a little bit weird he would report on the next Auburn head coach. But nonetheless, we'll see. Maybe he ends up being right. We'll see what happens.
I think the Rebels actually have only lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, they've lost 3 total, 2 in a row.
Yeah.
3 of their last 4, is that right?
I think that's. I'll go look. I think that is right though. Anyway, it's a good deal for a guy who's lost 3 games this year after that beginning stretch. You got their schedule up?
Yeah, 3 of their last 4. They lost to LSU, but they beat A&M.
That's right.
That was a close
A&M
game. Could have been a loss though.
Yeah. Well,
and then lost to Alabama and lost.
Yeah. First of all, he's staying in the league. He's staying in the West at this point, and so I love covering him. I think he's a heck of a coach. I love his very cryptic, comedic style. I think he's great. I do. If I were him personally, and he's not listening to me, I wouldn't leave Ole Miss for Auburn.
Really?
Now, if it's Alabama, I might. Hey, you know
I think
what?
It's 6.5 dozen going one or the other with Auburn.
First
or
of
Ole
all,
Miss.
you're still in this tough league no matter what you got. You got things going at Ole Miss. You're going to get a raise out of this. You don't have those crazy boosters that you've got at Auburn. I don't want to have to answer to those guys, especially if I'm going to make the kind of money I would make at Auburn at Ole Miss. That's just my sense of it all. Is there really more of an upside? You know what? You still have to play Alabama.
You're right.
You're still the second sister in the state.
But kind of like LSU in that you've seen Gene Chizik and Gus Malzahn, who I don't know how people compare Lane Kiffin to those two guys, win national championships there. That could be a potential upside if you think you're a better coach than them.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This will be a question we'll ask Stats Norsworthy tomorrow when he's on with us. But I believe there have been a lot more national championships won at LSU than there have been at Auburn.
Oh, well, certainly. But I'm just saying those two head coaches that you might consider yourself better than that have won a national championship.
I'm not saying I wouldn't take the LSU job. I'm not saying I wouldn't take the Alabama job. I'm saying I wouldn't take the Auburn job. One, you're not the top team in the state. Two, you got those crazy boosters that fire you a year after you won a national title.
Well, that's
Ask
also
Gene Chizik.
That's also, as I was about to say, that's also a factor. Is even if you win a national championship, you have no job security at Auburn. It would appear.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Grizz tonight against Sacramento. Ja is listed as doubtful. I heard he could come back if he really wanted to. They're just being extra cautious. That's cool. Sacramento, they did add to the roster today Xavier Tillman. Here's the guy I want to see, Ken Lofton. I want to see Kenny Lofton.
Been scoring 30 in the G League. I mean, he's
eating up the G League.
He is.
He's eating up the G League, literally. I mean, if you see him. Oh,
he was at the Tiger game the other night too. The VCU game, I heard.
Was he?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was almost a Tiger. He has a relationship with Penny. He was going to come here until, I guess, agents said, "What are you doing, man? You're crazy. You're good enough to make the NBA." And I think he is good enough to make the NBA. In my mind, you tell me, you're the basketball coach, but if you excel at the G League level, not just be good, but excel, aren't you going to make it in the NBA?
I think 30 a game, the way he's doing it, kind of at that tweener guard position, I think that's a pretty good sign. I don't want to go further than that.
Yeah, no, I do. But by the way, there's a thing going on that we're not going to talk a lot about, but it's pretty cool. In the National Hockey League right now, the New Jersey Devils have won 13 games in a row. 13 games in a row. The NHL record, actually it's modern times, it's not old times. The record is held by the 92-93 Pittsburgh Penguins. So I would guess is that Mario Lemieux on that team? I'm betting it's Lemieux.
I'm going to guess yes, but my NHL history is not what it should be.
Well, you're wearing a New York Rangers jersey today, which is, by the way, we've determined the ugliest of the original 6. You refuse to wear or get a Chicago Blackhawks one.
That's right.
Maybe I'll get you that for Christmas. I'll have to think about that. Anyway, the NHL record is 17 by the 92-93 Pittsburgh Penguins. So that the Devils are sniffing it.
That is Mario Lemieux. That's right. And the Devils are coming. The Devils are playing really well after having a terrible year last year. They're might be the best team in that area between the Islanders and the Rangers are stinking right now. The Devils are playing good hockey.
Somebody else had won like 12 or 13, like 11 of 13 or something, I want to say. Is it the Penguins or maybe it's the Bruins?
I think it's the Bruins.
Yeah, Bruins.
Patrice Bergeron got his
Yeah.
1,000th career point last night.
Yeah. And then we're going to get into the World Cup here in a second. My good buddy Matt O'Sullivan, former U.S. team member in '76, is going to join us. But I'm warning all sports bettors. I don't know if we're going to see this on the advertisements, but I'm warning sports bettors. Did you see this news?
I don't believe
This is
so.
scary news. So you are one of those guys. John Harden, I know, is another who will follow me today on the radio. Caution. Protect your accounts. ESPN has reported that a small number of DraftKings bettors had their accounts accessed by unauthorized users and had, with a number approximately $300,000 in total that was illegally withdrawn. So I don't know how it happened. I think they're trying to figure it out and probably get more security on the sites. But if you've got an account with any of these betting deals, because if they did it for one, they can do it for the other. And we know what happened with DraftKings, according to ESPN. Be careful and make sure you protect your assets in your accounts. In fact, I guess I don't do it, but if I were, I'd put a limited amount there, now knowing that there is the chance that something could happen. I'm in the Family Leisure Studios, and again, I don't know how much longer this is going to happen because they always change it around Christmas time, but they have a relax at home sale now with massage chairs, and if you want theater seating, they have the very best. Also, state-of-the-art pool tables, shuffleboards, they're on sale during the relax at home sale, along with saunas, hot tubs, patio furniture, and the rest. It only happens probably through Thanksgiving, so get to I-40 and Wooden Road today. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together. And our title sponsor, it's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. That's right at the corner of Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi at Highway 78, which is Lamar and Memphis. So you go down that road, you turn left, and I am going to tell you, you're going to be so pleased with this new financing deal that they have. You buy any new Hyundai. I'm talking about my favorite, a Santa Fe. Maybe you get the smaller Tucson. Maybe you get the Elantra or the very fancy Veloster. Any of those Hyundai products, which are the best, I think, going. You get any of those, pick up your car, drive it off the lot, and don't worry about paying for it for 90 days, 3 months. 90 days. What a deal. They always take care of you. That's why they have such great retention of customers. At Homer Skelton Hyundai, that is in Olive Branch. To Atlanta we go, and it was a bummer yesterday. The first half, the U.S. men's national team looked like world beaters, looked like they could win the entire World Cup. What happened, Matt O'Sullivan, in the second half?
Welcome to the youngest team in the World Cup. They all went in at halftime. They had done a great first half. Wales changed their strategy a little bit. They changed their forward up a little bit. They started playing the ball over the top and skipping the midfield and driving it. And then, like always, one mistake. Zimmerman made a mistake. He should have just let Bale have the ball and go backwards. He would have been fine. He tries to tackle him, and of course, Bale might have had a little extra, acting as he went down.
You think he sold that penalty? That looked like a pretty
obvious one to me. He didn't have to sell it because Zimmerman went right between his legs to try to get to the ball, which defensively is something you do sometimes. But that said, not when you're 12 yards away from the box and the guy's going the other way.
Right.
So, one mistake. Unfortunately, it's a tie. But you know what? It's okay. Let's think about other teams and other groups. Let's talk about Argentina this morning, please.
Oh, my goodness. Wait. We should go back and replay what you said on Friday. I won't do that to you, but I will let you or remind everybody you did pick Messi and Argentina to win this whole thing, which they still could.
No. And this absolutely, they just snapped their 36-game non-losing streak. Okay, That's done. And they're going to go back to training for a few days now. And guess what? It's the rest of the tournament. they're going to be on their toes, and they're going to be a lot better than they were today. Saudi Arabia, yes, ranked 51st in the world.
Wow.
Argentina, 3. Ouch.
Wow.
But the world's getting smaller. Argentina played a really high block. They just pushed them up and didn't give them any room back in the box. And, they score a couple good goals, and then they just bunkered a little bit the rest of the time and said, come on and score. And you know what? Messi and company could have been ahead 4-0 at halftime. That's what happened. It's the World Cup.
It's crazy.
This is fun, though.
What
it's
great. Well, and
it's going to be crazy. Now the Mexico-Argentina game, which before you would have expected that they might have just said, well, we could just end up 0-0 and we both go through. Right? Now it's going to be a battle.
Argentina has to win that game. You can't even take a draw. They have to win it.
Yes, they have to win it, and they have to beat Poland, and then they'll go through. And they may or may not be in first place. We'll have to see, because who knows now? Saudi Arabia now sits with 3 points.
I can't imagine that Saudi can put back-to-back performances together like that, but we'll see. So here's a stat for you. 59% of those that opening round get draws move on to the knockout round. If you get a win, it's like 76%, but a draw is 59%. What do you think this does? Now what has to happen with England? Another draw?
Another draw, and then a victory against Iran would most likely get the USA through. The craziness, though, is, one of the things about Group B is if you take the rankings of all the teams, Dave, it has the 4 most highest ranked teams. U.S. is 16, Wales is 19, Iran is 20. Those are toss-ups. I mean, the fact that Wales and U.S. tie and they're ranked 16th and 19th is not unexpected. But Iran's 20th. It's got, I won't call it the group of death, but it's got very competitive teams. And what you saw today with Saudi Arabia is the world is compressing in ability, because teams are training better and their players are playing all over the world in most cases, and they're the best players. And so it's you need 15 good soccer players, and you're in good shape. Yeah. And that's what's happening, and that's why you're seeing this Argentina thing will not be the only upset. This morning after that game, Denmark played Tunisia, which you would expect Denmark ranked 10th, Tunisia ranked 30th to win. 0-0, guys.
Wow.
That's the safe first game. Get it done, get a point, go on to the next game.
Wow. So Denmark and Tunisia draw, and they're number 30. Saudis were number 55.
Saudis were 51. Yeah.
That's
it's
crazy.
fun. I'm telling you, this is going to be like, unlike every World Cup, it's getting more and more competitive, and it's squeezing it. The fact that a team is ranked, 50th and can say, they played Argentina straight up. They didn't bunker. They didn't go in the back. They did the opposite. They went right at them.
All right. The biggest question everybody had after yesterday's draw was the USA and Greg Berhalter's decision not to play Giovanni Reyna. What is the deal there? He said he's 100%. His teammates said he was 100%. I don't think Berhalter did, though.
I'm not quite sure what was going through Greg's brain. When he brought on Jordan Morris, I looked down and went, huh? Like what? I mean, this is, they could have gone out and gotten a second goal sometime, and then it would have all been over. And, then the one mistake doesn't kill you. So I don't know what he was thinking, but, maybe Gio starts against England. I certainly think he'll play. If he's fit, there's no reason he doesn't play.
Would you rather him start or come off the bench early in the second half? Especially because he is coming off of an injury.
He is, and so he's not going to play 90 minutes anyway. So, but that said, he can certainly play 45 or 60. So whether you start him and pull him off early and put somebody else on, or you save him and then insert him strategically sometime during the second half. Either of those two are fine, but he's one of your weapons. And the good thing that Berhalter's got, the problem he's got right now is people aren't injured, and he's got more weapons than he has spots. So, but that said, the uniqueness of this World Cup is the fact that you get 5 substitutions in 3 groupings. You can't do it 5 times. You got to multiple.
Right.
So you go 5, you got to do 2 or 3 at once. But easy enough to do in the second half, if you're ahead by a goal and
bring in defenders.
You got 30 minutes to go, you bring in 3 fresh legs. Boom. Simple. And that didn't happen yesterday soon enough. So big game on Friday. Here comes England. And England cruised past Iran. It was 3-0 and then 4-1, then 6-2. No problem. Lots of goals, big goal differential. So, that the safest outcome for both teams is a tie, to be truthful. If the USA wins, England's in a tough spot. And if England wins, USA's in a really bad spot.
Your prediction right here is not the greatest, but I still have faith in you. You proclaimed they would make the knockout round. Do you still feel that way?
I do. I think they're going to come out strong against England. I think it's going to be a battle, and I think there's a decent chance that they could win the game.
He's our man, Matt O'Sullivan, former U.S. team member way back in the 70s, but still sharp as ever. Thank you, Matt. We'll talk to you early next week.
All right. Take care, guys.
That's our man. You used to call him the soccer rocker when he was on Rock 103 talking about the old Memphis Americans. That's Matt O'Sullivan. He's brought to you in part by AmeriCare. If you've got an elder in your home, you're worried about them living alone. They need to be watched over. Maybe they have some dementia and they need memory care. I've got the place for you for assisted living or memory care. It is called AmeriCare. And there are 3 locations in the Memphis area: South Breeze on Hacks Cross Road, in Collierville, Schilling Gardens. That's on 15 Schilling Bend Commons. And then in Olive Branch, right on Goodman Road, it's called Olive Grove Terrace. All 3 have the same philosophy that all the AmeriCare franchises have, and they've got 133 of them now. I started with 1 back in 81 in Sykeston, Missouri, a neighbor. They know what they're doing. They think about aging and wellness and living happier, living well. And a lot of that has to do with where you live. It's got to feel like home. Where you live really does matter, and they've got smaller, more intimate communities. It's easier to make friends, join fun activities. They've even got activities with special programs designed for your elder. In fact, if they have a balance issue, they work on that. So they take away the risk of falling. It does feel like home. Good company at mealtimes. It's the way to go. So if you are looking for that assisted living or memory care, I offer up 3 incredible places, all in the Memphis area: Memphis, South Breeze, Collierville, Schilling Gardens, Olive Branch, Olive Grove Terrace. We take a quick time out. We'll talk the National Football League. We'll put Week 12 to bed with our friend Jeff Moore. He comes your way in just a minute.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Hey fellas, Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and it happened October the 11th. I had my first guy ask me what he should get his wife for Christmas, and my answer was this: get her something she will appreciate and get her something she will absolutely love. Think about her likes and dislikes. You might even ask her what she wants. Then come and let us show you the finest, most beautiful jewelry in Memphis. This will be our 38th Christmas, and for many of our customers, they've been with us for every one of those 38 years. They come looking for beautiful gifts, but they also know that they will receive quality, value, and service that's unexcelled in the Memphis area. At Russell Brothers, you can play St. Nick, knowing that if you don't make the right choice, our money-back guarantee will allow her the ability to exchange her gift for one that she loves, or she gets your money back. We've helped thousands of Santas. We'd love to help you. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
I got to tell you, man, I was worried.
Worried about what?
Since I'm the Central Barbecue spokesperson.
We're really the spokespeople.
As a Central Barbecue spokesperson, I was letting people down because the Central Barbecue location on Central is closed for renovation. There are only 3 locations for people to get Central Barbecue.
I think people can get by with 3 locations.
No one cares what you think. Like I said, I was worried, but the people at Central Barbecue have solved the problem.
That didn't exist.
They've parked the Central Barbecue food truck at the Central Barbecue Central Avenue location. Everything is right with the world.
Everything was already fine.
I'll be the one that makes that decision.
It's the year-end sales event at Gossett Mitsubishi, and have we got a deal for you? Get power, safety, and bold style with 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $329 a month or $25,345. And take your pick at Gossett Mitsubishi, 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander or 2023 Eclipse Cross. We Gossett at $379 a month, or you'll find 1.9 for 36 months available. And if you're looking for peace of mind in your new ride, get a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Shop Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online anytime at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Sport 75 months at 5.44 APR. Outlander and Eclipse 72 months at 4.90. All 500 military rebates. Sport NU 020537. MSRP 26095. Outlander PC 009630. MSRP 296. Eclipse PC 006,400. MSRP 28785. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/22. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We put Week 12 to bed here in a second with our man, the former NFLer and volunteer. That would be Jeff Moore. He's brought to you by Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders, where Ken knows you are making a commitment, a big decision financially. You're putting that out there. That's why he will work closely with all of his clients, ensuring they get exactly what they want and expect, which is quality construction on time, on budget. That has been their motto for 2 generations. Ken Garland is terrific. He sees little details, big picture, all at once. He also does renovation. I call it renovation with innovation. You like your lot. You don't want to move, but you want the modern amenities? He's got them all, and he knows how to put them in there. So all you got to do is go to the website, kengarland.com, then give Ken a call. He's really fun to talk to. 751-1632. If you're ready to make your move, and maybe you even need land, he's got it. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Jeff Moore joins us now. First off, I got to ask you, what were you thinking about when you saw your volunteers, and especially Hendon Hooker? That's such a sad story. It's amazing to me. When I see a player go down non-contact like he did, it's always ACL, isn't it?
It is. It's tough to see with the kind of year he had put together and in the Heisman Trophy conversation and just consistently being a good quarterback. Yeah, he'll be able to come back. I mean, it's this the kind of injury that we see a lot of quarterbacks have. Thank goodness it wasn't a contact injury because it could have been worse. But look forward to seeing him come back, and just tough to see guy.
Me too. I know everybody has him written off of the Heisman now, and maybe that'll be the case.
Yeah.
Because other people are going to have 2 games or so or more to state their case. I have a Heisman vote, and he's not out of my consciousness at this point because of what he has accomplished up until now. And it wasn't his fault. They got creamed the way they did. The defense gave up 63 points, not Hendon Hooker. Okay, let's go to the National Football League, and let's start with this international thing, which I think we're going to see more and more of. It was crazy. T.J. Reeves told us about his experience in Germany, how positive that was. We've seen it in London. I think they got, 5 games in London? So everybody's getting a taste in London. And now Mexico City, although that altitude takes its effect on guys, but they're crazy about the National Football League now in Mexico.
Yeah, I think I like the way the league is going about just not overloading those out of the United States locations, but just a few games here, spreading it around. And I think the venues that they've selected, the countries they've selected, are countries that really love that type of sport. Soccer is huge there, and football, NFL football is obviously, they get the information, they know the players, and for them to get a chance to see them play live, even if it's once a year, it has an impact. And I think that's a good formula. You may add a game here and there, but you just got to take into consideration the impact that kind of travel has on a team and on players.
Well, it's certainly healthy for the National Football League total. I don't know if it's great for fans who, if they're season ticket holders, are going to lose a game. I think my family had Bears season tickets when I was a kid. If they were going to say, "Oh, we're taking a game away from you, we're moving it to London," I don't know how happy I would have been. Yeah. But I do know, for the whole league's sake, if they need more money, it is absolutely healthy for them to become a world brand, which they certainly are off and doing. Let's talk about some games. And I know you were really high on the Minnesota Vikings. What do you think now after they were absolutely crushed by the Cowboys?
There's a lot of things you could read into that game. It's easy to have a letdown with the kind of win that they had against Buffalo in overtime. That was a huge game, and they really played well. And so there's a natural letdown when you play a game like that. And then the Cowboys, coming off a game that they lost in overtime, that they had a chance to win, were definitely up for the game. So I'm not sure exactly what to take away from it. I think I'll feel a little bit better about both teams after this week because the Cowboys play the Giants, and the Giants will be coming off a loss to Detroit. But the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, needed to have the kind of game that he had. And he had a period of time where he was like 20 out of 20 when he wasn't pressured. He looked good. He looked confident. We know this defense is a championship defense. They've demonstrated that. I think it was a good game for the Cowboys. I don't know that it was as bad a game for Minnesota as it could have been. I think Minnesota will still rebound and be okay with that division, and then we'll see what they do in the playoffs.
Yeah, that division is poor. I'll get to that in a second, but I agree with you. The Cowboys' consistency over the last few years, and Prescott himself, not consistent. The Giants, a good football team. That'll really be a great game on Thanksgiving Day. So we'll get a better sense of both teams. I'm with you 100% there. You mentioned the Titans, and they started the week, and they did it in Green Bay, one of the tougher places to play. The score was 27-17 Tennessee. The score wasn't really indicative of how close the game was. The game was all dominant of Tennessee. Are we watching the end of the Aaron Rodgers era in Green Bay play out?
I think we are. I think you never know. I mean, you never know what's going to happen in the offseason, what kind of moves they can make. But there's definitely a disconnect that's happening on the field. They're just not consistent week to week. But the big story for me in this game was the Titans being able to go into Lambeau Field, which is tough to play on a short week, cold. And I like that they're getting back to their formula of Derrick Henry, a lot of Derrick Henry, and then play action with their quarterback and picking up their receivers.
And Tannehill was good in this one.
Yeah, he was very consistent, put up a lot of yards. And that defense, that defense is stout. They're consistent. They are aggressive. They tackle well. They cover well. I thought it was a big win for them as they continue to press. They're not going to have much challenge in their division, but certainly when they get to the playoffs, they'll be battle-tested.
And then there was the Kansas City L.A. Chargers and another come-from-behind victory for Mahomes on Sunday Night Football, biggest of audiences. He and Kelsey, what a combination that is. I know Kittles and Jimmy G are pretty good on Monday on Monday Night Football. We'll get into that in a second. But is Kansas City now the best team, even though they have 2 losses?
They're playing the best right now. I think they've been really consistent here lately. And there's no question Patrick Mahomes is having his best season as a quarterback, given that he's lost his best receiver, his most productive receiver, and Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce's the Hall of Fame tight end. He's proven it year in and year out, and he's about to just distance himself from tight ends that have had over 1,000 yards receiving in a season. He's way ahead of some Hall of Famers in that category. So I like the way this offense has moved the ball, has not just thrown at Travis Kelce, but Patrick Mahomes has done a great job of spreading that offense around. they need to get a little more consistent in the running game as they get into the playoffs, and their defense still needs to be stout. But I like the way Patrick Mahomes is playing, and right now I think they're playing the best of the teams in the league so far because, of course, Philadelphia had to squeak past Colts, almost end up losing that game. So, yeah, I mean, I think right now, this week, and that's the beauty of the parity of our league, is that, yeah, I mean, this week Kansas City appears to be kind of a razor sharp lead against Philadelphia. Philadelphia's right there. But I think I like the way Kansas City's playing.
It is razor thin, that lead, that's for sure, because it could change next week. I'm with you. I love watching Mahomes. You know how people like to say, well, you got to get used to the speed of the game when they're rookies and things of that nature. Patrick Mahomes looks like everybody else is in slow motion, and he is in fast motion. Like, he's the calmest guy. You never think he gets flustered. He just reads everything and always seems to make the play. He drove 75 yards in a minute 5. He left 30 seconds on the scoreboard.
What's brilliant about what I'm seeing with him is his pocket presence. I mean, he knows when to step up. He knows when to scramble right or left and still look downfield and find his receivers who know how to get open when he starts to scramble. That's just a unique thing that he has, and there's no question that because of the experience that he's had in tough games in the playoffs since his career, it's just made him the kind of guy that he just does not – he handles pressure the way great quarterbacks handle pressure. They just deal with it. They make a mistake, they come back, and they forget it, and they make a good play the next time around. And he's playing out of his mind right now, I think.
You mentioned that great Eagles comeback, so they've only got one loss. That was against Jeff Saturday's Indy Colts. Still a little controversial about Saturday being put in, getting around the Rooney Rule, all that other stuff. I don't think it can be denied, though. They win the first game. He's the coach. I know they gave up a lead in this game, but they really competed against what some people think is the best team in the league. Give me what you think is the Jeff Saturday impact.
I think that he's gotten his players to buy in to, listen, I'm going to do the best I can to help you play your best football. And they trust him. They trust him because they know he's battle-tested. They know he's going to be honest with them. And I thought I liked the move of him putting Matt Ryan back out there and saying, hey, guy, you know, I believe in you. Go out here and help out. Play your best football. And I think what is happening is they're just buying into the kind of person that Jeff Saturday is as much as coach. And I think that's what's making the difference in their effort. They're not the most talented football team, obviously, in their division or in the league, but those guys get out there and they're playing hard for each other, and that's important. It takes a good coach to get that out of his players. And
then the week was put to bed last night, Monday Night Football. A pretty dominating performance by the San Francisco 49ers in Mexico City. Kittles and my man Jimmy G. Jimmy G gets no respect, although Troy Aikman gave him a lot of respect last night.
Yeah.
Why is he never thought of in the upper echelon? You know, he's now 37-14 or something like that as a starter, 37-15 as a starter at San Francisco, and they're like way below 500 without him as the starter. He every game manager, he looked pretty good. That combination with Kittles, his tight end, almost as good as Mahomes and Kelsey. Why does he not get the respect?
Well, the biggest thing is the way he's played in playoff games. In big games, he's tend to not handle pressure well, really make throws and decisions that are not consistent with a quarterback that's playing at an elite level. So he's been great during a regular season, but he's got to play better in the playoffs, I think, to really kind of shake that mantle that he's not a championship quarterback. And he just has to try to continue to play well to do that. It certainly helps this offense to have Kittle back. Kittle is one of the best tight ends in the league, and he's been out for a while. So it definitely helps that offense to have Kittle and then McCaffrey in that offense. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be formidable, and they're now tied with Seattle with the same record in that division. So they're going to make a good run.
Is Cliff Kingsbury in trouble? the Arizona coach? Because he and Kyler Murray, who didn't play last night because of injury, are not exactly friends.
Yeah. They're not on the same page, but certainly I think they'll work through it. I don't know that he's in trouble yet. We just have to see how the season plays out. But they definitely have some things they've got to work out with this team.
Jeff Moore, thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I hope you have a great feast.
Thank you. Same to you, Dave.
That's our man, Jeff Moore in the National Football League. He's brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Team. That Matt Eflin, he does it a different way. He and his group, guys like Grant and Andrew and Heath, they want to get to know your family and then protect it the best way they can with the budget that you have. So they'll sit you down, they'll learn about your family, how many kids you have, what their ages are, where they're hoping to go. And then whether it's a home program, auto insurance, life insurance, they figure out the best way to protect you. Same thing, if you've got a small to mid-sized business, he is an expert on commercial insurance. They'll sit you down, they'll get to know your business, your product, your people, what your budget is, and then protect you the right way. All you got to do is call 901-386-4777. 4777, by the way, spells GERS because they're big supporters of the University of Memphis. Do it the right way, the collaborative way. Get protected with insurance from the Matt Eflin Insurance Team. Back in a minute, our final segment of the day, always one of the best in the week. It's with the basketball writer, Hall of Famer, Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News is next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text JUDGE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 321-321. That's JUDGE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Grapevine Liquor and Wine has the largest selection of bourbon in North Mississippi and wines from all over the world. Let Jimmy the Delta Boy help you select the perfect spirit or wine to impress. Whether you're looking for the best price or a certain flavor profile, Grapevine Liquor and Wines has it. If you want good southern treatment and the hottest prices, Grapevine Liquor and Wine, Getwell Road, South Haven.
Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, where do you get your bourbon? Flim flam, bim bam, Grapevine, by damn.
Get holiday ready at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on Covington Pike during our Black Friday sales event. You ready for a new ride but can't seem to find just what you're looking for? No worries. Stop by, pick your ride, and Gossett will get it ordered just for you. No hassles, no extra charges, no market adjustments. Pay no more than MSRP at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Plus, keep your money in your pocket during the holidays and get no payments for 90 days on select models and 2022 Renegade Sport 4x4? We got it $399 a month or buy it for $29,990. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike. Or shop online 24/7, 365 at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Renegade NPN 79312, MSRP 31980. Must finance through Chrysler Capital. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/22 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Well, we got some breaking news here. Interesting. Memphis 901 FC, they have just named their new coach to replace Ben Pierman, which saddened me that Ben is leaving. He's going to Charleston, going to do another turnaround job. But look who 901 FC gets. They get former MLS and Scottish Premiership coach Stephen Glass. He is the new head coach, the manager of 901 FC. I guess we'll meet with him a little bit later in the week. We'll try to get him on at some point. In the meantime, we're going to talk with our Hall of Famer. We always talk basketball with Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News, but I read his story today already because he's covering the World Cup as well and talked about the American draw yesterday, which, kind of was a bummer. So we've had my friend Matt O'Sullivan, who played on the 1976 U.S. team. I asked him this. You tell me what you think, Mike DeCourcy. What the heck happened in the second half? Great game plan first half, not so good second half, and, of course, a dumb penalty.
Yeah, the penalty was the thing. I think it's been overemphasized or overblown that the U.S. retreated. All one has to consider is how much time Brendan Aronson spent in the offensive half with the ball after coming on as a sub and before the game was tied to realize that it wasn't entirely a retreat. It was Wales put on a press. They changed their tactics. They played more directly, and the U.S. had to cope with that. It was harder for them to gain possession. Weston McKennie, I thought, should have come off earlier. I thought that was, if there was one real mistake that Greg Berhalter made in that game, it was not subbing out McKennie around halftime. Halftime, 55th minute, somewhere in there. Aronson was there. He's a terrific player. McKennie was not on his game. He's not 100% healthy. I know McKennie means a lot in terms of spirit, but Brendan Aronson has been terrific as a national team player and perhaps even better as a club player at Leeds. So that was the move to make. He waited too long to make it, and that probably cost them a serious opportunity to get a second goal.
Wow, I'm surprised when people talk about Berhalter strategic moves, they didn't put in Giovanni Reyna. That would have been what most people think could have been the difference.
Yeah, Reyna, first of all, they did say that he was bothered a little bit a few days ago by a hamstring injury. And he's been broken so many times. I mean, he played, I think, 14 games last year at age 18, 19.
Yeah.
You don't play 14 games at 19 unless you're hurt. I mean, he was hurt all year. I think he played in the first 4 qualifiers for the U.S. last year and not in the last 10. They're being cautious with him. I understand why people were frustrated because they did put Jordan Morris out there, and that was a very curious move. I was all in favor of putting him on the team because I thought he'd never see the field. They had 26 players. Okay, they're never getting to 25 and 26, so why not have a really good, smart team player out there? Then they put him in. He's a good defender for his position, and he's a big target, but still a strange move.
All right, last thing on this. Matto is still bullish. Probably got to draw England and beat Iran in order to get to the knockout round. Will the U.S. get there?
I'm going to say no because I don't like I don't like the arrangement of games, so to speak. I don't like the idea that you have to get a result against England, whereas Wales may not. or Wales may also be in the position where England is secure and not motivated and plays a lesser side. Now, the good news in that regard is England's second team is pretty good too. So if they put Jordan Henderson and Trent Alexander-Arnold and a bunch of other guys that didn't play yesterday, plus some of the guys who got subbed in, like Marcus Rashford, they're still really good, and those guys will be plenty motivated to beat Wales because it's Wales. So maybe that works out, but I still don't feel great. I would rather it be Wales that has to play England in the second game and Iran in the third, rather than the other way around. I think that's going to be what ends up getting the U.S. That plus the fact that they had a victory in their hands and one bad moment from Walker Zimmerman, who was really good for 98 other minutes, but one bad moment, and that's the life of the central defender. You make one mistake, and all the other good things that you did don't matter.
No question. All right, let's turn to basketball. Louisville lost their first 3 games by a point in each game. And then they got blistered yesterday by a really good Arkansas team, but they're 0-4. What's the sense around Louisville, you think, about Kenny Payne? We've seen it's worked really well for the most part in Memphis with Penny. He got us all back into the NCAA tournament this year. A lot of hope for this year. A number 5 recruiting class so far. It has not worked at Georgetown with Patrick Ewing. They lost all those games in a row. Now this Kenny Payne thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that there's a disheartening feeling around the Louisville program. They were ready to get behind Kenny. There was a good crowd for the Bellarmine game to open, but that was a tough opener. I'm not sure who scheduled that game. It would not have been my first choice to play an in-city rival that is extraordinarily well coached, that is coming off a lot of momentum from having won their conference championship game last year. I don't think that was necessarily the best idea. They played better after that, but then going to Maui, it might not have hurt them to try to find a way to get out of Maui too, but they decided to take the trip. And so it's a lot for them to handle, and it doesn't get easier. After they get back from Maui, the schedule doesn't get much easier either. It's going to be really ugly for them for this year. I think the one misstep that Louisville and their staff, the current program, has made is I think there was a lot of confidence about bringing in a big-time recruiting class in the first year. They've gotten 2 good players, 2 kind of foundational type players ranked in the 30 to 60 range. But they didn't get any of the elite talents that they were talking about and that the recruiting reporters were talking about. And I think that sucked some of the momentum away from the program as well. And like I said in a column a while back, I think it's better for them that they didn't get DJ Wagner because I don't think getting that singular elite player when you don't have anything to put around them is ever successful. We saw it at Georgia with Anthony Edwards. Yeah. They didn't get anywhere. We saw it at Washington. Lorenzo Romar was able to bring in the number 1 prospect, and that didn't work. So it's better for them that they didn't get him, but I think it would have helped them from a confidence standpoint, from bringing the fans in, to know there's a big-time recruiting class coming when there's not.
You said cancel Maui. You never not go to Maui. The Tigers are going in 2 years, by the way. They'll be in the Caribbean next Thanksgiving. Maui, I've been there like 4 times now because thanks to the University of Memphis. But that's my favorite preseason tournament. It all began actually with Alaska, which no longer has the cachet, even if they even have one. What's your favorite?
Well, Maui is awesome, and I've been there for that twice. I went in 2000 on my way to the Big Island Invitational. Actually, it was 99, I should say. 99, 2000. The Cincinnati I was covering at the time was playing in the Big Island, and I think it was only like $150 plus the hotel, for the extra flight over to the Big Island. So my boss said sure, so I was able to go to Maui for 2 days and then hop over to the Big Island. And you want to talk about a step down, man? Like the Big Island. The Big Island has beautiful places,
right?
But that's not where the tournament is. So I paid my dues by flying 14 hours or whatever to cover the Big Island Invitational. And then the next year I came back the next year, and you guys, I believe, were there.
We were. I remember seeing you.
99, 2000.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. If you ever get the chance to go, if you're the Tigers are there 2 years from now, it is a wonderful trip. It is. It's a beautiful place, and then the hoops are. There are no bad seats in that building.
No.
And especially now that it's air conditioned and you don't have to sweat through your clothes like Billy Vano did the night I saw him.
Well, I've been there without the AC. In fact, I've never been there with the AC. But I will tell you this: it was not hotter than it was in Memorial Gym when Memphis played Vandy. That was the hottest I have ever been in an arena. And one thing I love about these tournaments is you get stuff like Memphis could play Ole Miss twice in about a week and a half if they were to play them in Orlando, depending on who win. If they beat Stanford, and then I think it would be Oklahoma, and they would meet in the championship. But you got a really good one, because if I recall, Cincinnati fans always want the Bearcats to play Ohio State. Ohio State, the big brother in the state, never wants to play them. But now they're going to play in the losers bracket today in Maui. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's great. There are just wonderful things that come out of these tournaments. There's some terrific ones this year. PK85 has a bunch of different outstanding teams out in Portland. There are the ones in the Bahamas. The Battle for Atlantis is a great event. So it's hard to go wrong with these. And with that going on in the World Cup, I don't know how anyone gets any work done this week at all.
That's what I love about it. I mean, I can go home right now and I can watch 3 different tournaments if I want to. And that's the way it is. This is the best week for college, other than March Madness. This is the best week to watch hoops. Thank you, my friend. As always, a big happy Thanksgiving to you and to Deb. I hope you have a wonderful feast, and we'll do this again next Tuesday.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and Gail and all my friends in Memphis. Still have many, and all the people who listen. I really appreciate you sharing 15 minutes with me and Dave every week.
That's it. Thank you. That is Mike DeCourcy, the Hall of Famer from the Sporting News. He is brought to you by Conway. They're driving up because of regulations, the prices on HVAC. My friends at Conway want to make it easy for you to beat that price increase. Get it? A system now, and they make it so inviting. 384-3511. Call and find out, but I'll let you know. If you replace your old inefficient system now, they will throw in a free heating system and a free Nest thermostat. All you do is pay for the cooling part of it all. Get a new system. It's going to save you money in the long run. And beat these new rate prices. They're going up with new regulations just by calling 384-3511. Again, you get the cooling system. They throw in the furnace and the Nest thermostat. What a deal. 384-3511. Conway Services. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Tomorrow will be a fun day. Stats Norsworthy on what's going on with the Egg Bowl. And then, of course, Jarvis Greer on Tiger football at SMU. See you tomorrow. Johnny Radio is next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dave